Hey y'all, it's CherokeeStarfish, and welcome back this weekend to some more Might and Magic 6, The Mandate of Heaven. Well, as you can see, we are already in the thick of it, because we have returned all of the Oracle's memory crystals, which means that it is mostly functioning again, enough to tell us that while it's repairing itself, it can't help us directly, but it's able to give us advice, and what it told us was that we need to retrieve what's called a control cube buried under dragon sand in order to access the control center, the planetary control center. So, that's where we're headed now. Of course, the quest book is a little more explicit. It just tells you directly that it's the Tomb of Varn. So that's where we are. This is not a place that we have thoroughly explored before. There's still quite a bit of dark on this map. There's the Shrine of the Gods where we teleported to in the very first episode for the Easter egg dungeon, of course. So, and then here is like that little oasis. This pyramid is the Tomb of Varn. So that's where we're going to go today. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything right away, because this will happen during play, of course. But if you have played, you'll see here how it's all capitals, V-A-R-N. If you are familiar with the earlier games in the Might and Magic series, then you might recognize that acronym from something. And some of the things that are going to happen here very shortly will be a little less surprising. But I hope that you like plot twists. Of course, you've already gotten a taste of this, but now we're about to have a whole serving. So, very foreboding. This pyramid seems to be made of a strange, weathered metal. It appears to be partially buried in the sand.
A bad feeling about this place.
Of course, here we are. There's the exit. This is like, there's a puzzle game that I played, a little indie game, and I can't remember what it's called, but you are trapped in a room about this size that is also Egypt-themed, you have a timer, like, I think 30 minutes to solve something like 15 or 20 miniature puzzles in order to open the door, otherwise you die. Let's see, we'll have Tommy set a beacon here, I think, because we will be coming back. And then before I even show you anything, we're gonna run right back, as is tradition. We're gonna head straight over here and recover those spell points. So, why do we know that we're going to be coming right back? Well, this is the biggest dungeon in the game, y'all. Here we go. I fully expect that this will take more than one episode, so I hope too that you'll all join me next Saturday as well, because we will probably need that in order to finish this out. And here we go, our first new enemy that the place is going to, that this dungeon is going to introduce to us. So, now we don't have the first tier because I believe it's Genie, Jinn, and Ifrit, which actually doesn't make any sense, of course, because our word Genie is just a corruption of Jinni, which is, you know, the Arabic singular for, like, Jinn is plural and Jinni is singular, so they've already got it wrong. Like, it should be Jinni and Ifriti, and then the other one would probably be a Dao or a Marid. Marid? I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I took Arabic in college, so my pronunciation may be off. But regardless, these dudes are stacked, and what they are stacked with is DPS. So these are some bad guys. We're going to want to take them out pretty quickly. As you can see, each of them has kind of an element. The Ifrit are fire-aligned. That means Incinerate's not going to do us a lot of good here. On the other hand, Ice Bolt is going to work out great. That's not a bad implosion. Ah, there's one of the one. There we go. There's the genie. That's the first tier. You may also notice, too, that perhaps unsurprisingly, the music here is similar to, well, it's the same track as when we go and visit the Oracle. That makes sense since the Oracle sent us here, right? And you'll see they can cast Fear and also Sleep, I believe, and a couple of other status effects. So, we will have to deal with that. I don't want to change her quick spell away from Incinerate because it's only going to work poorly on the Ifrit. But like on these guys, for example, see, it's still going to work great. Oh my god, really? Oh my gosh, really? There we go. That's a little better. Lord. That one was close enough to pick up. And you'll see they can drop some like accessory type treasure items, but they are not going to drop gold, unfortunately. Let's see, he's hung up a little bit on the corner. Let's come up here and we'll just destroy him. Man, there we go, Lucy. That's more like it. Gotta watch that haste spell, too. One left. Let's go take care of this guy. Now that he's by himself. Whew. They have so many hit points. I mean, it's only like 400 and some, but... See, there we go. Small shield. They'll drop some treasure items. They just won't... There's some more. Not sure if it would be more efficacious to fireball these guys. Well, that's a pretty good fireball. Alright, well, we'll try that then. If I could take them all out. Wasn't sure if it would be like a better use of spell points to try incinerating them individually. Okay, that definitely worked pretty well. I also forgot, we leveled up last time, so we need to spend these points. Of course, we kind of have a plan here. We talked about that the last time that we leveled up. So, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, thankfully, because we already have an appropriate plan of action. We know where we're pumping these points and where they're going to go, so I'm just going to kind of dump them in. Let's see, she's doing air magic next. She needs 2 more in spirit. And then these go here. And let's see. I think we were doing light with him. He's closer to spirit. Can you remember if we were going to... Were we going to take spirit to 12 first and then move on to light magic? Or were we doing light magic first and then we were going to come back for spirit? This is the only one that I can't like 100% remember. I feel like we were doing light magic first, but okay, see that's what I thought. Like the gamer in me was telling me to go for spirit magic because it's closer to 12, but I was remembering light. There we go. Okay, that takes care of that. Oh, and this is neat too, these tapestries. You can actually click on them. So with painstaking care, you are able to decipher the message of the hieroglyphs. It doesn't say how long this takes or how you're able to do this. We're clicked on Tommy, so I mean, we know he didn't do it. Though the crossing of the void be a long and arduous journey, the land you find at the end will be sweet and unspoiled by ancestors or the enemy. Take heart that your children's children will live in a perfect world, free of war, free of famine, and free of fear. Remember your sacred duty to care for the ship on her long voyage, and ensure her safe arrival in the promised land. Tend well the Guardian, and house it securely away from the ship, lest both be lost in a single misfortune. Okay, well... We don't get to go left this time. There's no option, you see, because that's a dead end. We have to go this way. So, let's see what awaits us. Oh! It's genies. It's very suddenly genies. Right there in our faces. I feel like the genies, honestly, to me, are more of an annoyance than anything else in terms of where they fall on the threat scale, because we've met plenty of enemies that are more dangerous than the genies, the djinn, and the ifrit. But, like, they've got a pretty solid amount of hit points, which makes them, like, it's hard to kill them in 1 or 2 shots, especially the ifrit. And then, like, they deal okay damage, but not a lot, so it's mostly just they appear in gangs, and then you have to chew through them before they chew through you. But yeah, see, like right here, here's something already right away that's a bigger threat. Remember these guys? Hey! Ta-da! Remember the fallen defender from the Hall of the Fire Lord? Well, this is a non-fallen defender. Ta-da! They use a lot of mind magic, and they also have some non-elemental attacks. You saw that pink and blue explosion similar to what the warlocks use. Now, thankfully, you'll see they've only got about 200 hit points. So, like, we don't really have to worry too much about them, like, wiping the floor with us suddenly. The difficulty doesn't ramp up that badly. But they're not pushovers. And you'll see, like, they're immune to body damage, which sucks. And using spells like Psychic Shock also means that, like, we don't really have any resistance to anything they can do to us. So that's not great. They're a bit more of a threat. And of course, those are the first tier of that enemy type as well, so there will be more of those. With painstaking care, you are able to decipher the message of the hieroglyphs, intermixed with diagrams of devils this time. Remember our enemy, children, and never underestimate the danger they pose. Though you will never see one during your journey, you must be forever vigilant against invasion from the void once the voyage has ended. Mighty beyond words, the enemy is nonetheless vulnerable after a crossing, for their numbers are small and their defenses weak. Use the energy weapons carried on the ship to defeat them, and never, ever engage the enemy with lesser weapons, or you will surely perish. Well, I'm glad somebody told us about that. Thank you, Oracle, for warning us, because, I mean, otherwise, goodness, we might have just taken swords and spears and gone after these devils, right? Doodly-doo. Another small dead-end room. I feel like the very first part of this dungeon is actually fairly accurate to kind of the overall design scheme of a real Egyptian pyramid, where, like, there is, you know, there's an entrance, and then there's kind of like a main branching hallway, and then a couple of chambers going back and forth here, see? And then that's, like, pretty much it until it goes, like, into where the burial chamber's at. Speaking of which, of course, there's much more to explore. Oh, well, I'm not going to cast Awaken with her. That's far too much of a waste of DPS. Tommy, on the other hand. This looks like a great place for a dragon breath. Oh, and it was! I was right. Let's have y'all concentrate on those. We'll wake Debbie back up. Oh, goodness. Haha, good thing it works on the whole party. See, these guys, they just, you know, kind of appear in groups. And, wow, y'all. What was that? Oh, he came close enough for us to hit him with swords, so... Oh, you hear that? There you go, right? And honestly, I mean, I'd buy it. Like, surprise. Do you like dragons? Heck yeah, you do. Everybody likes dragons. Do you know what's even better than dragons? Dragons with energy cannons. Oh, I forgot to say nice. I wonder how that, you know, that meeting went, actually. Now, of course, this is, as I said before, if you played other Might and Magic games, some of the things going on here are not going to be as mysterious to you. So, I mean, this is not the first time that sci-fi elements have appeared in the series, obviously. But I kind of wonder... Oh, that guy had a key. I kind of wonder, like, how they developed the story. I'm genuinely interested in like, how they came about that and some of the decisions that they made as they designed this. That could be good. Backdoor key.
Very nice.
Eh. Well, so, here we see the beginning of the dungeon. Y'all, welcome to the real show. Ta-da! It's big. Whew, big enough that we've killed a bunch of enemies and we already have green gems. So, but you can see, of course, that there's some more over there in the distance. See, like there is a Guardian of Varn versus a Defender of Varn, 227, 617. That's kind of a big jump. Now, there are several ways that we can go in this very, very large dungeon. I did say it was the biggest one. It's so big, it actually doesn't all register on the map at one time. So, like when we come into the room. Also, you'll notice that, see these pools? Cleansing pool. See, they're all lit up blue over here on our map. That will be important too. Ah, a plaque. Warning, power fluctuations. Alert engineering immediately. In case of energy leak, bathe in one of the medicated pools placed for your safety and convenience. I like that it's safety and convenience. You know, just that kind of... that vibe that it gives. Like, don't worry about it. If there's an energy leak, you'll be fine. Go ahead and recast haste, because I'm paranoid about that running out on us. Alright, so we got a couple different ways we can go. There's a door over here with enemies. There's a big old door over here, and you can kind of see like some of the defenders of Varn. There's a sentinel of Varn, that's the middle one. And honestly, I think the coolest looking one, because there's not a lot of purple enemies in this game. And so forth, kind of lurking beyond. Or we can try, you know, like climbing up a level and so forth. So, where are we headed? Where shall we go? You want to climb these walls and go up that way? Do you just want to go straight for the big old doors over here? Go up here and take a look anyway. Flame door. And of course, yeah, I mean, you can tell that there are enemies back there. We should at least go over here and read these plaques, I suppose. See, this is another warning about the energy leaks. Power fluctuations. Me choose. Okay, well, let's go through the side then, in that case. I'd like to stay on this level for a while anyway. And we didn't get to go left earlier. So this way we can go left. As we should. I like the art in here. I don't know where it came from. Who's responsible for it, you know, but... Okay, well... That was a good use of 100 spell points, I think. I didn't even hit him. Wow. Is he immune to dark magic? I don't remember that being a thing. Yeah, it looks like he's just immune to dark magic. Okay. Well, that's alright. At least we know. Oh, he's immune to fire, too. See, yeah, the Guardians are much more serious business. They're not immune to arrows, thankfully. That would be ridiculous. I have a friend who thinks that it's genuinely, like, hilarious how... I mean, obviously, these are based... Their design is kind of, like, Anubis-inspired. Because they're, like, jackal men, they're guardians of a tomb, you know, they're ripped. And that's what he thinks is so funny, is just that no matter how far you go back, there has always been some human who thought that, like, you know, animal people were hot. The anthropomorphic, you know, community. Because you never see Anubis depicted except, like, other than this. Other gods have other depictions, but Anubis is always, like, super hot. Super conventionally attractive. Oh my gosh. That's super annoying. Come back here. There we go. Dropped like 1,400 gold almost. Woohoo. Picture door. With an arrow pointing towards it. That is literally a monster closet. Literally. It's a closet with a monster in it. It's a monster closet. Now, this is going to take us back up here, see, to the side. I think that there's one on this side as well. Maybe not. Okay, it's just an easy way to get back up there because, see, like, this is... You can't hop this, it's too high, so it's a way for you to get back up without using the jump spell. See, there's a door. We're going to do this one first. Because this is a smaller room. Almost looks like a meeting room, doesn't it? Wow. That fear gets really annoying. Of course, sleep is... sleep is more annoying because fear messes with your stats, but sleep keeps you from taking a turn or something. So it's... But still, having to heal it all the time is... And that's the most annoying part about the genies, is that they inflict those status effects as a part of what they're already doing. They don't cast a separate fear spell. It's just like their fireballs and things. You know, they come with a fear effect. It's like gross. Those guys atop us here. We'll deal with them shortly. Okay. Actually going to cast haste again. I also enjoy, and don't actually know if this was deliberate or not. I feel like it's obvious enough that it probably was. But you'll notice that the main enemies that we're fighting here in the Tomb of Varn share color coding. So, like, the genies are the lowest tier, you know, enemy for their group. There it is. Haha, secret chest.
Got it.
Oh, see, where have we seen one of those before? Aha. Captain's Code.
Very nice.
Town Portal. Nice indeed. The Flame Door Key. Ah, so we had to come here first. I forgot about that. I couldn't remember that one, or didn't remember that big one was locked. Let's see. You're going to hang on to that. You've got one. Okay, so we need two more. But anyway, yeah, so the genies are blue, and they're the least powerful, and then the jinn are purple, and they're the middle ones, and then, you know, the sentinels. What was I saying? Oh, no, sorry. So, yeah, genies, jinn, and then Ifrit are red. There we go. And then for the defenders of Varn, they're blue, sentinels are purple, and guardians are red. So there you go. Okay. That's a lot of angry dudes. You know what I'm going to do? I think this is a good place for another Lloyd's Beacon. Aha. See, there's other enemies over there. They're all over the place. Let's see if we can get these guys here. There we go. We got one of them anyway. Right? See, just look how far you have to walk. This is an impressively large dungeon.
Yeah.
So you'll see as we get further into it. And there's treasure up here on this level and everything. So, you know, like, it actually is worth your while to come up here and explore everything, which is good. There could be a lot of empty space here. Like this, for example, this walkway that we're on, there's no other enemies up here. So, yes, the giant box. Wide open spaces. See, like, this could be a little more dynamic. It could be filled with some more stuff, and that would be good. But for the most part, like, there is stuff up here. But look at this. So big. See, there's, like, structures within the structure. It's so huge that it's like there's other buildings in it. It's not my favorite dungeon design. I do like the the Tomb of Varn, though. I keep wanting to call it the temple, and I don't know why. Or if you just mean, like, the giant box. Now, let's see. I think... Okay, never mind. I was going to say, I think I can get up here with a jump spell, but it's not necessary. Yes, the giant box is everyone's favorite design. WTF dungeon architecture. Oop. Jumping. There we go. And these guys are up here to reward you for, you know, climbing all the way up to the top. It's like, oh boy! I see you made it. Welcome to the party. Also die. And ta-da! That is a teleporter. With a very big elevator. Very deep elevator. This will be important later. Obviously. To go back.
Come on, let's get out of here.
No, I don't want to do that. Ugh. I didn't mean to teleport us out. I want to finish that room, so I will go back here. Ta-da! Because we are, like, what, 70th level wizards? And we can do that? Epic level adventures of the worst kind. Whee! I love the physics in this game. You just, pew! You be running at a slope like that, and then get to the top of it, and it just hurls you through the air way, way further and higher than you really have any right to go. Without magic. There we go. We'll get this guy. This is pretty much the last of this room without going back through that big wall of columns and things. Yeah, you can hear the air quotes. So, we didn't really inspect what was in that chest, actually. I just kind of stuck it all in there and didn't talk about it. So these crystal skulls, you'll remember this, right? And I was very sarcastic about, like, I wonder what this will be. Surely it is not a special tool that will help us later. So, yeah, you'll see what those are for. I'm not going to explain it now because it hasn't come up yet. And then the Captain's Code. That's something that we will need later. When the landing commences, Captain, take this code scroll to the central control chamber and speak activator key CRIC when prompted. All of the senior officers must present their code scrolls and keys to open the way. Yours is the last key in the sequence. Captain CRIC. I'm just going to kind of leave that there for a minute. Oh, there he is. Oh my gosh, after all of those recastings and then haste wore off anyway. Oh, I hate that spell. Fine. You gonna get it, guy? He's showing us his dance moves. Which I am fine with. One more. There we go. Go down. Yeah, you've got the right idea. It's not subtle. Like, I'm not talking about it, but it's not subtle. Doodly-doo. So much ground to cover. And here we go, a door. This is like the other half of the pyramid over here. I want to clean these enemies out as we go because they are worth like loads of money, which we don't super need at this point, but they are also worth like lots of experience, which I'm always a fan of because experience is the best treasure. Oop.
Fixed.
And of course the Guardians, being the top tier enemy here and being an endgame enemy, they like to break stuff. He thinks he can escape. He cannot. There are so many better things that we could do together besides fighting, guys. The real experience was inside us all along. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on! There. Lord. There's some more of them over here, of course. Whee! So much walking to do. You can kind of see, like... See, there you go, how it syncs up. This. The entrance to the central pyramid lies to the south. Well, like... Yes. This one just says picture and then doesn't do anything. You know, as a dungeon, it's more empty space than there needs to be is really the only problem, I think. But as, like, what it actually is, well, yeah, it's not a great design. But there's a reason for it. There are lore reasons for why it's laid out the way that it is and takes the shape that it does. Doodly-doo. We can't have that broken. Yeah, absolutely. I think that if you're gonna have a dungeon at all, then you need to think about why the dungeon is there and why it is what it is.
It's fixed.
And this one, like, they went big, and they should have gone home. No, I like the Tomb of Varn. It's not great dungeon design, at least not this first part. Now there are other parts of it that I stand by. This is not it. This first part is not it. Come on. Come in. There we go. And see, these guys, this is something we know we can get through them. So that's why I'm kind of saving our spell points and not bothering to, you know, like, really slam these guys. Whew. So there is a lot going on here. Be careful, make sure I don't fall off. The Water Temple. Ah, the door is locked. Okay, so this is not as far as we can go, obviously. There are enemies and things over there. And, yeah, that's just so that you can get through here when you fall off. I always forget that and think that that part is, like, going to be another section of the dungeon or something. And it never is. I'm always wrong. Every time. Now, there are a lot of enemies. No, but you do have to carry the Zora Princess around. Time for a fireball. Whew, it's a good thing we have those elemental protection spells on, isn't it? Could you imagine, though, in this game? I guess, how would that even function? I guess she would join you like an NPC over here? Like a hireling? And you'd have to, like, escort her through the dungeon without getting her killed. Goodness gracious. You just say the boy thing, but we all know what we're talking about here. Like, you can say Prince Nikolai. We all know who's at fault. This is my least favorite room in the dungeon just because there's like 48 genies here or whatever. It's just not a good time. And that's kind of what I was talking about before, like, that they are annoying because they come in groups. If Incinerate worked on these guys, that would just be great. Or Flying Fist, you know, or anything, but... I've already been as far as the corner. I'm going to come up here and just melee him. Methinks. The status effects are just the worst. I mean, and that's what status effects are there for, right? To ruin your life. Oh, I don't want to rest. You can't rest in turn-based mode. Yeah, that's the reason that we can't make camp here. Oh, Lord. Yeah, see, this is why... Just need to reevaluate what I'm doing, because we can slug that out, but it will be just a giant pain in the butt if we do, I feel like. So here is a great place for another Lloyd's Beacon. There we go. They didn't really pursue, did they? So let's take a slightly different tack here.
Can we assist
I'm
you?
gonna say it's been a while. We've been doing fairly well, but let's grab our skill points back, or spell points. Man, oh, I just realized like that the environmental music had been gone for like ages. It played one time and then just kind of quit on us. Okay. So, here's what we'll do. We're going to gather some of these genies up, right? We're going to head over here to this door. We're going to find some cover. Kind of serpentine. Oh, let's see. Yes, there are quite a few. And, okay, she's got... No, he's got the back door key, yes. There we go. And now, we'll get this guy out of our way. And then we use this little cubby hole here to kind of, we'll kind of snipe them. We want them to come closer to us. And when they do, we will jump them. Go. Because melee is always better, of course. See, there's one down. are you? Ugh. Because, see, they can fly indoors and we can't. Which is just the worst. Usually I run through that room and kind of skip it anyway, so like I'm not super invested in cleaning all of those genies out. There's so much more dungeon, and it's so much more important that we go do other things. Aha. Yes, exactly. Just stack them all together. One good shot. Come on. These guys are dressed like they're on their way to work at the club. Like in the go-go cages. Ta-da! There we are. Some more of them. They hit pretty hard, so we'll heal. Oop. Oh, what'd they break? Oh! Oh, wow!
There's nothing I can do.
Oh gosh, that's the first time that that's
fixed.
happened. It's a good thing that she's so good at repairing stuff, because see, these guys can break an artifact. But you saw her health go from yellow to green because we repaired Mordred and then hit them with it. Which I appreciate. These guys are mostly just like immune to a lot of magic, so there's no choice but to kind of hit them with our swords and stuff. It is what it is. That sounded like they broke something, almost, but I didn't see the flash. Just have to come up and beat on them. Well, I think it's time to go back to using haste. We'll be a little more conscientious about our healing, too, because these guys can do a number on us. I mean, insert obvious joke here, but... Come on. Oh, there we go. Now he's trying to run away. You can't get out of... You can't get away. Can't get out of here. You're trapped in here with us! Oh, now that time he broke something. I wonder if it was Mordred again. No, it's the other one.
Fixed.
Whenever something breaks, and, you know, it just turns red, and then you fix it... Oh, yes, yeah, like in D&D terms, yeah, usually you can only destroy them in, like, one specific method. But in here, no, they just gotta take damage. Okay, that goes back out. That's the other door that we didn't go through over here, so we'll go that way in a moment. Actually, you know what? No, let's go here first. We will. Because... There we go. I want to take these guys out like one set at a time, and then it'll connect back up with someplace we've already been, which I prefer to opening a new area. But yeah, so you break an item and then it just kind of turns red, and then you right-click on it and it fixes it, and it's like, how does that work? Because usually when something is broken, I mean, like when you fix it, it's not as strong. It's not, you know, something's up with it. It breaks easier the second time. So, like, you know, they broke Mordred, so what happens now, right? Like, how did she fix it? That it's just gonna be okay. Don't worry about it. No, it's fine, for real. Oh, that Ifrit was standing in front, so... Of course. It's alright. This room is set up exactly. You can see how like the little closet things are staggered. So that way as you run through here, you know, there are guys on both sides. They can jump out at you and they'll aggro as you run through. Oh, whew, whew. No, don't want to cast that yet.
Okay.
Come on, losers. There we go. As long as we can keep them in small groups, like, that's desirable. So... Come on. There we go. So we'll just creep along, take these guys out. I'm going to keep an eye on that haste spell. I don't want it to wear off on us again. It's so annoying. You can see these guys just do not hit as hard as the defenders of Varn. They're here for the status effects mostly. They want to put you to sleep with their fireballs and terrify you. Oh, there's a magic lamp. Those are kind of like in the same category as the decks of fate. Whew. I love haste when it works, I just hate when it wears off. That's not working. Hey, welcome! Welcome to the party. No thank you. Let's see, we'll let Zoltan get a little piece of this action. She'll get a bigger piece. She always does. Come on. Woo. On. Oh my gosh. Hate you. There we go. I want them to come out along the walls so that I can actually hit them. There we go. That's a good spot. Oh, they moved. I was gonna say, that's optimum. We can hit them, but they can't hit us? That's great! It's my favorite place to be. Come on. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Oop. Itchy trigger finger. There we go. See, in terms of design, that's actually my problem with the Tomb of Varn, is that there's just a lot of enemies to chew through, And I mean, that's okay. It's an in-game dungeon. You know, it shouldn't be empty. But it's like a lot. And they're all this, so they're just like, they're annoying to fight. Which I think is a crime. Because much like, if you're going to have a dungeon in a game, whether that's tabletop or video game or whatever, you should think about why that dungeon is there and why it would be built the way that it is. And, I mean, they do that a lot in this game. And I appreciate that. And you know, you're going to have 20, 30 dungeons in a game or more. Not all of them are going to be equally good. It's okay. It's okay to have flaws. But likewise, if you're going to have enemies in a game, you should also think about what it's like to fight those enemies. And I think that, you know, I'm a big proponent of, if it's not fun, don't put it in. And so there's some tactics to, like, that big room outside, you know, that's full of genies. And you can choose to just run around them and not fight them, or, you know, whatever. Likewise, there's some tactics here where, you know, we're going from kind of alcove to alcove to make sure that we only aggro the genies so many at a time. And so that part of it's okay. Like the actual layout of the dungeon is fine as regards where the enemies are and that kind of thing. It's just the genies themselves are not fun to fight for me. And so the fact that there are more of them here than anything else. And I think it would be easier in, like, in some of the other games, they added spells and better equipment and stuff to help you resist certain status effects, like sleep and fear. It just made it just a little bit easier, and that's what this needed. It doesn't need a change of, like, a different enemy or for the genies to not do what they're doing. You just, at this level, like level 70, should not be as vulnerable to things like sleep and fear as status effects. And really, honestly, in my opinion, to status effects in general. I don't think that you should be immune to them without giving up an equipment slot or something similar, because that's a big deal. To just, you can't be turned to stone, you can't be instantly killed by death spells, you can't be paralyzed. That's a big deal. Oh, I forgot one back here. And so you should have to give up something in exchange for that, like an equipment slot for that magic item that's creating that effect. But I think that, you know, it's necessary to consider that if this is a level 70 dungeon, what would a level 70 character be like? What should they have to endure? What resources should they have available? And so that's something for me that that this needed. Oh, Lord, there's a whole other room like this. Okay. Doodly-doo. Anyone who, like, joined the stream right now would just kind of see this, like, I'm attacking a formless blob of purple in the upper left corner, and nobody really knows why or what it is or what the goal is here. Oh, another guardian. Great. Welcome to the party. There ain't no party like an adventuring party, and an adventuring party don't stop until the cleric runs out of spell slots. Or SP in this case. There we go. Considering there's only really like one non-squishy class in this party of 4 people, I can't be mad at how ridiculously well we're doing whenever we just kind of put the magic down and just start beating on people.
Okay.
Because of course Lucy does successfully carry most of that, and that's the point of Lucy. But I think that Debbie especially holds her own really well, and Zoltan and Tommy do too. I'm not mad about their performance. Another Ifrit. Y'all are just... I hope that you're having fun. Because I am definitely gonna edit this part down for the YouTube upload. Yeah, that's right. Go on, get out of here. Run. There we go. Oh, really? Well, I mean, if you grind and have good gear and stuff like that, then yeah, it drags a bit. But it doesn't have to be super difficult, but it is full of a lot of powerful enemies, so you can still be forgiven for like not solving some of the puzzles here because they require resources that you have to go through 5,000 genies to find, I think. So, like, I just think that it's cool that you beat it. Congratulations on your first clear. Did you, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm just going to ask, how did it go? Were you satisfied with what happened? I'll say it that way. Yeah, no, mostly I mean it just annoys me more than anything else. It does affect their stats. So, you know, intellect and personality and stuff, but... there we go. Knight, archer, cleric, and knight. Wow. Wow. So that means then that your archer was your elemental magic spellcaster. That's bold, going with no sorcerer. But then, of course, your cleric can learn light and dark magic, so you still have that. Yeah, I can actually see it, because even though I prefer to have more spellcasters, just to take the burden off of some of those other characters, then like the knights have so many hit points and just hit so hard that you're probably tearing through a lot of early game dungeons especially, but then that stays relevant later on, because I mean, look where we are and what kind of powers we have, and how much time do we still spend just in melee, you know, just beating the crap out of enemies with our bare hands. You'll notice I'm just letting Lucy like get her rest there, just take her nap. Okay, before we do anything else, wake up. And she's got enough. We will head back again. Don't get me wrong, I still, like, my only gripe with Shared Life is that there's not a version of it for spell points. Insofar as that's a gripe. Because that would be wildly useful. Go. Come on, guys. This is actually almost kind of a nice break. Like, isn't that awful to think? Like, oh boy, different enemies. It's like I've been fighting gelatinous cubes so much that, like, finally, a damn dragon. At last.
Yeah.
Shoo. Cut at least one of them out anyway. Oh. Oh no. He saw through our clever ruse. It's alright. With haste on, we get way more turns than they do anyway. So that's good. Come on. There we go. See how both of them just jump? Because she has 500 and some hit points, and nobody else has anywhere near that. He's starting to get out of frame. We're going to kill him before we knock him around the corner completely? Oh, well that helps. Thank you for volunteering as tribute. Woo! Now I'll just slam the A button. Like I'm waiting on my favorite fanfiction to update. Refreshing. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think when you have fun with this, the character creation is one of the places where there's a lot of replayability, because you're going to use totally different strategies, even when the game itself is going to be the same, if you change up who you've got in your party. So, like, 4 sorcerers is going to play very differently from, you know, a knight, 2 clerics, and an archer, or like, you know, 2 druids and a paladin and a cleric or something like that. And so I'm sure that there are people out there who probably do challenge modes or handicaps for themselves where they will do things like a no spellcaster party, you know, all knights, or where they'll do all spellcasters and just do like 4 druids or 2 clerics and 2 sorcerers, or 4 sorcerers or what have you. Or do something like, you know, four clerics and there's no elemental magic. So it's a race to get to dark magic as soon as you can, in order to have, like, decent attack spells. On the other hand, it's like, you know, 4 white mages in this game definitely does work. Because you'll never die if you have a party of 4 clerics. We've seen that. Shoo. Here we go. And there we are. We're back here. See? Ta-da! And that is what all of that fighting was for. All of those many, many genies we had to kill. No, I'm joking. Actually, we're going to go out this way. See? We're getting closer to the flame door over here. But look, Lord, all the way that we've come. And we still have more over here at the center of the pyramid we've not done. And then, like, the water temple. And there's some other stuff back here that we didn't get. So. Whew. Now we get to use Inferno a little bit, though. Well, if Lucy and Zoltan could hit anything, man alive, guys. Goodness gracious. Ooh, wow. Whoa, that didn't hit us. I wonder how. It's like maybe because it was calculated to hit them because that was the target. No, that shouldn't have happened. I don't know. I love when stuff glitches like that, though, because we didn't take damage. Just a good thing that wasn't a dragon breath. Fireball, fireball. Oh, yeah, I can't even imagine doing a solo playthrough. Oh my gosh. With one character. Because, of course, like, you have to make a party of 4. It forces you to. But then you can always kill 3 of them and then just go through the rest of the game with one character. And, man, that's something else. That's a whole different ball game. You could do it with that one character sucking up all the experience, you know, especially if you got learning and you got like a pair of instructors very early on as your hirelings. It certainly would cost less money to outfit them, but just for me that wouldn't be fun. I don't think. I can see how other people would have fun with it, and it definitely would be a challenge. I just don't think it's the kind of challenge I'm looking for, because I like too much having all four of my party members and giving them a dynamic. For sure. I'm not sure what I would do. Huh. Like, I'm thinking, if I was going to do a solo playthrough, you know, what character class would I use? And... man, that's a really tough call. My first thought is Paladin. My first thought is Paladin. I don't know if that would be my final answer. Because, of course, the Paladin's got self-healing, starts with spirit magic, which is good, and can pick up body magic right in New Sorpagal, you know, right out of the gate. Can wear full plate armor and use a shield and a one-handed weapon, and a variety of one-handed weapons, which is good. So... huh. But they don't get light or dark magic. And there are so many enemies in the game that are immune to things like Flying Fist and Psychic Shock. So maybe a cleric? Because clerics aren't as heavily armored, but they can use a shield to make up for only wearing chainmail, of course. Yeah, I can imagine, because you have to have, like, a pretty deep knowledge of the game. In order to do that, you need to know what's coming up, you need to know, like, what the strengths and weaknesses of each class are, and how that's going to affect your ability to do a playthrough. That is absolutely something that I feel like would be very difficult to do a blind playthrough of. You would really need to have played the game before, I think, to get the most out of it. Whew. Now it's a room full of these guys. Power cure. Shoo-wee. There we go. That's a little more tactical. Let's heal some. These guys are actually, like, forcing us to fight tactically, which is great. We're at that level where we kind of need a challenge, because we built a solid party, and some of these in-game dungeons where the memory modules have been and stuff, they've given us a fight. And I appreciate that. Because there were a lot of mid-level dungeons, I think, or mid-game dungeons that we just kind of tore through. And part of that was deliberately orchestrated by the fact that we did the Easter egg dungeon back at the very beginning, and, you know, picked up a lot of equipment and money and that kind of stuff, and that bonus to our stats. So we knew that was going to happen, and it's okay, you know, we did it for fun. But nonetheless, I appreciate being challenged at a game that, you know, that I know how to play, basically. Any time you would like to... There we go, thank you. We're hitting the hitbox of the other guy, though. Hilarious. Okay. Oh, good. Yes, stand right there and cast Psychic Shock, please. 100%. Exactly the dynamic I'm looking for. Thank you. The relationship I want to have with you is for you to stand there where you can't hit me, while I stand here where I can hit you. Whoop! Hello! That was very sudden. There we go. We'll have them work on Purple God with spells. Nice. Oop. What'd they break? Aha.
Fix.
We've got a lot of stuff that we need to identify. I'm just letting it sit.
Very nice.
Woo. See?
Aha!
And some of this is actually good stuff because this is an end-game dungeon. So, because there are only for those of you who may be curious, in case it matters, we are approaching the end of the game. So there are only 2 dungeons left after this. And so what we're going to be trying to accomplish here in the next little while, and with the last few episodes of this series as we come up on the finale here, is we are going to be... we're going to finish Varn, however long that takes, which is probably going to be at least 1 more episode, I'm thinking, because if Darkmoor took 2, then I'm predicting, and have predicted, that Varn will take at least 2 as well. And the way things are going right now, I'm pretty sure that'll be the case, as we'll do, next week will be Varn again, I think, to finish things up. And then after that... there's another dungeon that we'll do that may not take as long as Varn, and if it doesn't, then we can squeeze in some other stuff, like we don't have any other side quests to accomplish, but there are a few places we haven't gone, such as Dragon Sand and Paradise Valley, where there's some powerful monsters. The dragons, the titans, and so forth. And they deserve a little bit of our attention, I do believe. Because they are going to drop some really great equipment, and they're going to be worth a lot of experience points. And so if we're feeling that, then, maybe we can go around, we'll use Armageddon on them, considering that there are no NPCs we can accidentally kill there, because both of those maps are deserted of folks with green dots. So it'll just be us and the monsters. And then we'll be looking at the final episode, which will, of course, be the final dungeon of the game, and the ending. So, there's your lineup. There's not much longer. We'll be wrapping this up before too much more time has passed. Yeah, that's true. We've kind of touched on that before, where if it breaks, then, Lucy says, I don't know, but mysteriously she does, and now everyone else does too. Somehow she figured it out. Which makes a weird sort of sense when you think about it, because you have to figure something out, to fix it. Yeah, it's just such a big dungeon. There's so much to it. Speaking of which, it's time to go back and heal again. One more time. Let's check our spells. Okay, we need another haste.
Can we assist you? Luck be with you.
There, see, you could catch me doing that thing again. I always keep turning around before I beacon out, as though, Lloyd's beacon is going to jerk me up into the sky. I'm going to bang the party's heads on the overhang if I don't step out. Ah, here we go. This is a good room. This is how you can tell that's an end-level dungeon. Look at that. Every bookcase just has top-tier spells in it. It's pretty cool. We'll clear all those out before we actually open that chest up there. There we go. chest is locked. Do we have a key? We have the key to the flame door. That is currently the only key that we have. Inferno, Meteor Shower. We get Ice Blast, Lloyd's Beacon, Incinerate, Town Portal, Implosion, Starburst, Fly, Mass Distortion. Man, that's a good haul. Yes, indeed. Yes, heavy spoiler alerts. Okay. So now we've got to go back up here. Whew! And actually, this, of course, is the last day of August for my time zone. So that means this is also the last episode of this month, and we will be finishing this series up in September. So with that in mind, it's also time to start thinking about like what we're going to do next on this channel. I really don't have a strong plan. I have plenty of games that I can play. And if y'all are interested in continuing to watch, then of course we'll need to pick another one. We'll have to figure out what that's going to be. And so I'm open to suggestions. I do have Might and Magic 7. If you all enjoy what you're seeing and you're having fun with this and you want to go ahead in the same vein and just continue doing basically what we're already doing, then I am more than happy to go forward and play Might and Magic 7 right after this. I love it just as much as 6, if not more. And it's been very much on my mind because of doing this. But I have plenty of other games as well. I have more first-person party-based RPGs like this one, but which are not Might and Magic games, such as Wizardry. I have a variety of other stuff, you know, all kinds of games. The only thing is, I do want to continue to keep my focus on, like, what I think of as classic or old-school games. So I'm not going to be playing anything on this channel, for the most part, that is, like, newer than probably 10 or 15 years old, because there are plenty of other people who are already going to be playing those games. And there are other great YouTubers, other great Twitch streamers that you can find, some of whom I host here on this channel, in fact. So you can go and you can watch Impure Tale, you can watch Gnome Bitten, you can watch Sleo9 or Vinesauce, and you know you can watch Claris. Right now, I think that she is playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, actually. So, I definitely recommend that. I don't have Battletoads, he said defensively and also with terror in his voice. But so yeah, you know, if you have a suggestion, if you have a game that you want me to play, you know, if there's a lot of demand for it, I am willing, as it says in my description, to play like a newer RPG or puzzle game, if there's a lot of demand. Especially if it calls out like elements of older games, like something like Moonlighter or like Abduction, which is actually made by the same people as Myst, and which is very in that vein, that kind of thing. But mostly it's going to be older games. And so if you have a suggestion, tweet at me. You know, hit me up in YouTube comments, let me know here in the stream, or DM me here on Twitch. You can go to the Facebook page or to Pillow Fort if you use Pillow Fort, and let me know there what you would like for me to play next. Because I'd like to just go straight into it. I might take a 1-week break, but as of right now, my plan is to just go straight on, and whatever comes after Might and Magic 6 the very next Saturday, I'm going to be digging straight into that. So, that gives you several episodes to think about it, several weeks, and then decide what you would like to do, or what you'd like to see me do. I'm also thinking about, because this has been a lot of fun, you guys really have made this a blast for me. This has been a great experience, starting up a Twitch channel and uploading to YouTube, and it's been a lot more fun and a lot less trouble than I was worried it would be. and it's become something that I really look forward to every weekend, and I want to thank you for that. And so, I've also been thinking about, I have the time, I certainly have the games, so if y'all have the interest, I've been considering starting up a second stream where I might play something different from what I'm doing on Saturdays. Like, since this is a first-person, party-based, open-world RPG, I wouldn't want to play another one of those and do, like, 2 of them side by side. But I could do something like a turn-based strategy game, like Civilization, or Disciples, or something like that, or Heroes of Might and Magic, although I feel like that might be a little too much Might and Magic to play like Heroes 2 or 3 alongside this, or alongside Might and Magic 7, even though the stories are concurrent and like the lore does go together. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting some people to say, and what I'm leaning towards myself. And if there is no strong preference, like if a lot of people don't tell me that they would rather see something else, then Might and Magic 7 is definitely what I'm going to do next. But I wanted, this is something I do with y'all. I'm not playing this by myself, and I'm playing it for y'all, not just for myself. And so, I want y'all to be involved in the decision-making process here. Yeah, I think that there are plenty of people who already play games where they don't know what they're doing. They're doing blind playthroughs for the first time. And I have not played Battletoads. I know what it is. Of course, everybody does. It is a game that I missed the first time around. And I'm not opposed to doing a blind playthrough, especially of an older game that maybe is famous and that I didn't get to play back when it was new. I'd love to revisit some of those. But I feel like overall, because we are talking about older games and retro games, it might be more entertaining for you if I know what I'm doing, at least somewhat. So, and yes, I do have Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 as well. That is an option. I have both the originals and I have the new enhanced editions, including Siege of Dragonspear. And Baldur's Gate is, you talk about a long play, man. There's a lot to do in that game, so that's something that would keep us busy for a while. But I am open to the idea. So yeah, Might and Magic 7, Baldur's Gate series, we could do that. Y'all just hit me up and let me know what your preference is, and we'll pick something out. And then, if you would enjoy seeing a second stream, if you have the time and interest for that, let me know about that too, and let me know what days and times would be good for you, because evenings, my time, of course, are better for me, but I have several days during the week where I could do it, so I've been thinking about that, and, if Fridays would be better for you, because that way, that's another weekend night, technically, when you might have more free time, or if a weeknight would be better, so that way you've got something to hopefully look forward to on, like, a Wednesday, maybe, or a Tuesday night, then that's totally doable as well. I can do either of those, and would be happy to do so, whatever y'all find most entertaining. I do have Betrayal at Anantara. I do. I know what Betrayal at Antara is, or Betrayal in Antara, I should say. That is one that falls into the category of games that I missed the first time around, because I have played, like, Betrayal at Krondor, and I just never owned Betrayal in Antara until later, when it was no longer a new game. So that would be a blind playthrough, versus, like, Might and Magic 7 or Baldur's Gate, I've played many, many times. So that's something to consider as well. If y'all do want me to play something that I've played before, so that I'm a little more competent at it, maybe, like in this game, I hope, then I'll let you know if I have played it or not. But yeah, hit me up with that, and do let me know if, like, a Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday would be, like, better times for another stream. And if you want to see a second stream with a different game, you know, tell me about it. And if there's interest, I'll do it. I'll stream twice a week. And if there's not, then I am totally fine with streaming on Saturdays. I can even tentatively stream multiple times on Saturday and do 2 games as well. Oh, you mean like in the same genre kind of thing? Yeah, I feel like if I played Betrayal and Antara, I would know some of what I'm doing, kind of like what you're talking about there. I obviously would not know everything that I'm doing. But as I said, I did play Betrayal at Krondor, and Antara was made by the same people, I'm almost positive. Let's see... Fireball for you, I think. Hey, yeah, you guys are more than welcome to Backseat Game.
Yeah.
Let's see. If it was a Might and Magic game that I did a blind playthrough of, you mean? Actually, if that's what you're asking, I've actually played them all. From the first one all through the Zine series and stuff, all the way up through Legacy. Although, I have definitely, for sure, played some of them less than others, and there are bigger gaps. Like, for example, Might and Magic 1 through 5, I've only played like once or twice each, and it's been a very long time ago. So it would be like basically new to me if I went back and played something like, say, the Zine trilogy. Versus like Might and Magic 6, 7, 8, and 9, I have played multiple times and beaten them. Might and Magic 10 I have played, but I did not beat it because it got to a point where like I just couldn't stand Uplay, and hated logging into that, and like I took my laptop to my parents' house, and they didn't have internet over the weekend for some reason. Like I think they were doing work on the lines maybe, and I could not play my offline single-player game because I didn't have an internet connection. So I just like got mad and uninstalled it. But I have it, and I enjoyed it when I did play it, and would be willing to play it again. So that would be a semi-blind playthrough where like I know part of the game, know how it works, but did not finish it. And yeah, I could do something like that too. You know, like I could use Saturdays to play older games like this, and then if y'all wanted to see me play a newer game, I could do that on another night. For sure. I would mind a lot less diversifying between older and new games, different titles, if you know, if I could keep the theme going for at least one stream. I think that would be doable. Goodness gracious me, oh my, there's so much left. I'm gonna die. That rhymed, and I didn't mean for it to, but... Thank you, Zoltan rolled his eyes at that. Lord. Oh boy. Oh boy. Come on, let's do this. Boom. Of course. I knew his hitbox wasn't out of the way, but I tried it anyway, like a fool. A buffoon. An imbecile. Yeah, I mean... Yeah. I didn't hate it. It's not a bad game, especially if you like stuff like, say, Grimrock.
fixed.
I think I mentioned that on this stream once before. If you enjoy Legend of Grimrock, then Might and Magic 10 is actually not a bad game at all. It's just, you play, and I just don't want to support Ubisoft forcing me to sign into yet another layer of ridiculous, like, always online DRM in order to play a game that I already bought and own that's not an online game. Wizards and Warriors. I have not played it. I know what it is, and I actually own the GOG version of it, I'm pretty sure, although I would don't quote me. I would have to look to be certain. But I'm pretty sure I have it, and so it's like it's on my to-play list, but I haven't played it yet. So that would be a blind playthrough. Always getting in the way of each other. Stand still so I can hit you. Speaking of Baldur's Gate quotes. There are quite a few. There are a lot that have really charmed me, and that I find really adhere to a lot of the things that I loved about games that came out in this era, like in the 90s and stuff, and they've been faithful to what made those games good. Like, if you haven't played Moonlighter, I definitely recommend it. I feel like it's a really good version, like a hybrid of Racketeer and Legend of Zelda, honestly. And I don't like roguelike games, but I like Moonlighter quite a bit. I've enjoyed playing it a lot. Stardew Valley, of course, amazing game. Wonderful game. Definitely A+. You have to enjoy that type of game, but if you do, if you're a fan of things like Harvest Moon and Rune Factory, you would probably love Stardew Valley. And Chucklefish, the studio that helped to produce Stardew Valley, also has a number of other really great games that are either on their way out, like Inmost, or which have already come out, like, what's it called? Time Turner? Or something like that, I think. And that's really... they're just all good games. So yeah, I would definitely check out Chucklefish if you want some good retro games. They have that good, like, pixelated style where it's like high quality SNES type graphics. But the games are all good. I've not played one that I dislike. Shoo. These long corridors. I don't want to fall down there. Let's jump for it. Ah, there we go. They even have one game that puts me in the mind of Jagged Alliance. Lord. Okay. Yeah, we're not doing that. It's time to go back and heal anyway. I'm just gonna fall down this hole. See, this is... You can see how huge this dungeon is. Look, it just keeps unfolding. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Legend of Zelda is really great. Link to the Past is one of my, like, top 5 favorite games of all time. I still have an original cartridge, for my Super Nintendo, which I also have. Lord. Well, now I'm just running around in circles because you can see, like, how much dungeon there is and how much of it there still is for us to do. So we're going to have to save some of that for another time because we've been at this a while. We've covered a lot of ground, but there is so much more ground yet to cover. Oh my gosh. There is so much more. I mean, and look, we've been in there long enough. We've leveled up 3 times from killing those guys. That's the real value, honestly.
Closed.
Oh, the temple's closed. Chucklefish. There we go. Do you know what? I don't want them to go without sleep. They're going to need sleep. I would be smartest to just rest, I think, because they've been up all night and all day.
Coming right up. Enjoy your stay.
There we go. Okay, well, so... I think that's where we're going to leave it. There's definitely going to be more Varn next week. So be prepared for that. Getting the control cube should be our goal for next weekend, next Saturday. And yeah, I'm not sure about that. For me, like, I love Link's Awakening, other than the ending. But the graphics, I don't know, they look kind of cartoony, like a mobile game, and that's okay, but I would rather have like an SNES quality remake, like just a really nice high-def colored version that was kind of like Link to the Past.
Can we assist you?
I could definitely do that as well. In fact, I've been dabbling around and playing Diablo 1 recently because GOG was finally lucky enough to be able to negotiate the distribution rights for Diablo 1 and the Hellfire expansion pack. And so I have been playing that. So that's also an option. So yeah, options are something that we definitely have. So, like I said, y'all let me know what you want to see me play next. And yeah, think about that too. It needs to be something interesting for you to watch. So, I'm going to be back next Saturday with the rest of the Tomb of Varn. We're going to get those other codes. We are going to find the control cube, and things are going to get wild. So, until then, let me know what you'd like to see me play after Might and Magic 6 is done with. Whether that is one of the games that was suggested here tonight or something else that you think of. Decide what would be interesting for you to watch. If you would like to see a second stream, let me know what days and times are good for you. I am in Eastern Standard Time, and of course my next stream will be Saturday, 7 p.m. at Eastern Standard Time. So I hope to see you there. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hit me up on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pillow Fort. Comment when I do the YouTube upload tomorrow, or DM me here on Twitch and let me know your thoughts. Let me know that you're enjoying the stream. Give me a like and a subscribe. Share things around. All my social media is linked to each other, so you can find one thing from another thing if you jump around. And I'll see you guys next time. It was really fun. Killed a lot of genies. Killed a lot of hot jackal men. Now I'm going to take a break. So keep those suggestions coming. And thanks for playing.